This is a Maxiao Leadership Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to this live episode of the Maxiao Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Maxiao, and I'm excited to welcome you to this special episode of the Leadership Podcast. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and that you are making the most of the last few days of 2022. Very excited to have you all here today. 2023 is just around the corner, and it is critical that we do everything we can to make it our best year ever yet. That's why you are here, and by doing that, you're already making a head start. So well done to you. Now, what will we cover today? I'll share with you 3 leadership resolutions that you should make to set you up for full success in 2023 and avoid pitfalls that prevented you from reaching your full potential in 2022. By the end of the session, you will understand why New Year's resolutions are important, what you should pay attention to when making New Year's resolution, and which 3 resolutions you should focus on. So the first question that we want to address is, why are New Year's resolutions important? I know that for some of us, the idea of making New Year's resolution might feel like a chore or an added pressure. But I want to challenge that thinking and encourage you to see resolution making in a different light. There are a lot of people who think that New Year's resolutions are a waste of time, and it's also a waste of energy, especially because nobody seems to be able to hold on to their resolutions. And those who think that way could have a point. If I ask you, do you remember the resolutions that you made last year or those you made the years before? Have you delivered on your own commitments? If you haven't, or simply don't remember what those resolutions were, don't worry, you are not alone. Some research indicates that New Year's resolutions typically hold for only 2 weeks, and in the best case, maximum 2 months. In fact, I read somewhere that by the 20th of January, most people have already forgotten about the New Year's resolution. And they even find themselves even further behind compared with where they started at the beginning of the year, which is why some people say, why bother making New Year's resolution? Now, I think that even if that's the case for a number of individuals, it's still important that you make New Year's resolution. And there's at least 2 reasons why you should make New Year's resolution. The first and foremost is that making New Year's resolution gives you the opportunity to reflect on the past year and identify areas in your life that you want to improve. It's a chance to set goals for yourself and work toward becoming a better version of yourself. And as a leader, it's your responsibility to improve on yourself. You heard me say a lot before that when the leader gets better, everybody gets better. And the first step in becoming a great leader is to improve on yourself. And getting into the motion of setting New Year's resolution forces you to reflect on where you are, identify areas that you need to develop further, and place them as New Year's resolution. So that's the first reason why you should consider making them. The second reason for making New Year's resolution is that they give you a sense of purpose, a direction for the next 12 months. You see, when you have clear goals in mind, it becomes easier to stay focused and motivated, even and especially when the going gets tough, when things become difficult. I wrote a guide earlier in the year that talks about effective time management. And a lot of people feel overwhelmed in their day-to-day work because they don't know how to get things done. And the reason why they don't know how to get things done is that they give priority to multiple things at the same time. And I believe that at every given time, you need to focus on only one thing. And the way you decide on what to focus on the moment is by having clear idea about what you want to have achieved by the end of the day. And the way you are clear about what you want to have achieved by the end of the day is to be clear about what you want to have achieved by the end of the week. And to be clear about what you want to have achieved at the end of the week, you need to be clear about what you want to have achieved at the end of the month, and at the end of the quarter, and at the end of the year. That's where New Year's resolution fits. They make the link between your life goals, your life purpose, which is multi-years setting, which is a long view, and what you want to do on a day-to-day basis, which is what you want to have achieved in the moment. And they make that bridge between your long-term focus and what you want to achieve on the moment every day. And you will be able to break down that New Year's goal, that New Year's resolution into objective for the quarter, objective for the month, objective for the day, and objective for every moment in your day. So that's, again, summarizing why it's important to make New Year's resolution. First, because they give you the opportunity to reflect on where you are and where you want to go. And second, because it gives you a sense of direction and focus for the next 12 months. Now, the second question that I mentioned earlier, which is about what you should pay attention to when making New Year's resolution. You see, one of the reasons why people don't achieve their New Year's resolution is because they go about the wrong way. And before I give you the 3 things that you need to focus on for your New Year's resolution, I want to talk about how you go about setting up goals in general and New Year's resolution in particular. There are 3 critical elements that you need to have in mind. 3 things you need to have in mind when setting up your New Year's resolution. The first one is to be clear about your intention. You see, when you decide on something, you need to know why is it that you want to have that as a resolution. And it touches a bit on what I discussed earlier. Your annual goal needs to be aligned with your life purpose, with your long-term vision. And when that's not the case, you are disconnected, and before long you wonder, why is it that I'm doing this? If you choose a resolution only because you think it's fashionable, you see other people doing it, or you think it's what people want you to do, it's not aligned with your internal, your core intention, you will not be able to hold on it on the long run. So first element, be clear about your intention. The second element, I encourage you to focus on behaviors. When you choose something to do, choose an action that is related to your behaviors, to things that you do every day or things that you want to stop doing every day. If you want to improve your communication skills, then set up a goal or a resolution around making a speech every day or making presentation every day. If you want to have a goal about writing a book, then your resolution should be writing 500 words every day. Focus on a behavior, something that you can measure on a daily basis, something that you can measure in what you have done or not done. That will change your life on the long run. So that's the second element you need to bear in mind when setting up New Year's resolution. And the third element, very critical, very important, and is probably one of the prime reasons why people can get hold on it on the long run, is you need an accountability partner. You need someone that will be there with you in the trenches, will remind you of the commitment that you've made, and will help you go on the long run. When you decide on something on your own in your bedroom, that's great. When you share it with others, that increases the accountability and will give you that added motivation to get it done, if only because you don't want to disappoint the individuals that is acting as your accountability partner. So 3 elements to have in mind when you set your New Year's resolution. Number 1, be clear about your intention. Number 2, focus on behavior. And number 3, have an accountability partner. And on that last point about accountability partner, I can act as your accountability partner if you want to. If we find that this is something that will be beneficial or valuable to you, you can go on my Calendly link, and I'll put the link in the chat later on during that call. And I'm making available to a selected number of people a free 1-hour strategic call. This is 1 hour during which we'll get in depth about what is it that you're trying to achieve, what has been the hold up to you up until now, and we'll see if I can help you with that, or if I can direct you to some other resources to help you achieve your goals. But whether you work with me or with somebody else, make sure you have an accountability partner. That will make the difference between you achieving your goal in 2023 and not achieving them. So these are for the first 2 questions that we covered. Why is it important that you make New Year's resolution, and how you should go about making New Year's resolution? The third part of this webinar today that we're going to talk about is then what are those 3 resolutions that you should make, and what are the 3 things that you should focus on when you come to your leadership resolution? And the 3 elements that I'm going to give to you here are rooted on my vision of what I call a self-empowered leader. What is a self-empowered leader? A self-empowered leader is someone who takes responsibility for everything that happens to them and are committed to serving others. And that's how you become a leader that everybody trusts and respects. That's how you improve on your leadership skills day in, day out. It is by taking responsibility for things that happens to you and by having that commitment to serving others. So what are the 3 areas that you can make to improve on that going forward? And they are linked to what I told you about the 3 characteristics of very good resolution, which are focus on a clear clarity on your intention, focus on behaviors, and having an accountability partner. So number 1, first resolution, start a daily habit. Start a daily habit. Think about something that you will be doing every day to support your long-term goal. You see, it's by taking an action every day that you make change in your life on the long run. I'm reading a book at the moment by Stephen Pressfield called The War of Arts. It talks about how to overcome resistance in every activity, in every creative action that we make. And one of the chapters in the book talks about turning pro. It talks about the difference between amateurs and professionals. And professionals, one of the characteristics of professionals is that they stick to the activity every day. Think about your work that you do. You are a professional in the field that you are, whether you're an accountant, a lawyer, banker, whatever you do, because it's your professional work, the work that you do, you wake up and you go to it every day. Every day you turn up for work, whether you like it or not, whether you enjoy it or not, you turn up to work. And it's the same discipline that you need to apply in whatever goals that you have. If there's something that you're passionate about, something that you think is important to you, your most important goals, identify what activity, what action you can do every day to support that long-term goal and make it a daily habit. If I look in my case now, one of the passion that I have about these leadership activities, and I started this leadership podcast. Why? Because I wanted to be able to share that passion with others. One of the things that I've learned is when you share on a topic, you have to research it and it makes you even better. And I can transfer the skills that I learned in this leadership podcast in my day-to-day work, in my day-to-day job. And this is something that I invite you to do the same in your everyday work, in your day-to-day activities. What can you do to identify an action, an activity that supports your long-term goal? So that's action number 1. Start a daily habit. Action number 2, resolution number 2, stop an activity or a behavior that takes you away from your long-term goal. So number 2, stop doing something. It's great to start, but you also need to have the courage to stop. And usually people think that focusing is about directing all your attention onto doing something. That's one area of focus. But being focused is also being able to stop and say no to other activities that takes you away from your main goal. So what I want to challenge you to do in 2023 is to identify something that you do that takes you away from your long-term goal. Stop doing something. There are things that you do every day, and especially look at an activity or an action or a behavior, something that you do every day. Stop doing it and direct that energy, direct that focus, that effort into improving on your long-term goal. Maybe it's the amount of time that you spend on social media. Maybe it's the amount of time that you spend watching TV. Maybe it's a number of meetings that you have at work that are really not productive. Think about something that you do that are not really productive or are not adding great value towards your long-term goal and decide to stop it. Have the courage to stop it. So that's action number 2. So number 1 is start. Number 2, stop. And the third resolution that I encourage you to take for 2023 is to serve even better. You see, in the definition I gave you earlier about a self-empowered leader, I said the leader is committed to service. That's where you make the difference. As a leader, you are committed to serving the people around you, whether at work, in your business, at home. As a leader, your primary role is to serve others. Service means adding value. And one of your resolutions as a leader must be about serving even better, meaning increasing the value that you add to others. So identify one area where you are going to increase the value that you deliver. What is it that you are going to do better than everybody else or anybody else in 2023? What is at work, at home, in your business, in your endeavor, whatever that is. What is that one action? What is that one activity? What is that one service or product that you are going to deliver even better than everybody else? That commitment to service that you're going to bring to the next level. This is going to make the difference between you and everybody else. Because most people go about in life by just being happy with what they have, and they don't focus on getting better, or even when they do that only for themselves, not for others. But for yourself, focus on how much more value can you give to others in any field, in any endeavor, in any activity that you have. Increase the value that you deliver to others. So these are the 3 resolutions. Start, stop, serve. Start a daily habit. Stop an activity that takes you away from your most important goals, and serve even better than all. These 3 S will transform your leadership impact in 2023. So we come to the end of our session today, and I think Edwig's question gave me the opportunity to summarize what we discussed. So what we talked about was why it's important to make New Year's resolution, and we discussed that there are at least 2 reasons why you should be making resolutions. Number 1, because it will give you the time to reflect on areas in your life that you need to improve, and number 2, it will give you a direction for the next 12 months, a sense of purpose. So that's why it's very important to make them, even if people fail with the New Year's resolution, you don't want to stop making them. And how do you make sure that you're not going to fail on your New Year's resolution? You need to make sure that you have 3 elements in mind when setting them. Number 1, clarity about your intention. You need to be clear about why that is important to you. Number 2, you focus on behaviors. When I talk about starting something, I talk about starting a habit. When I talk about stop a non-productive activity, stop something around habits. Focus on behaviors. And 3rd, make sure you have an accountability partner. That's how you're going to increase your chance to delivering your goals. And so the 3 leadership resolutions that you need to make to achieve to take your leadership to the next level in 2023. Number 1, start a daily habit that supports your most important goal. Number 2, stop non-value added activities that takes you away from your most important goal. And number 3, serve your people, your community, your team, your customer. Serve them better than ever before. Provide them with exceptional service. That's how you're going to transform your leadership impact in 2023. With that, I want to thank you for making the time to join me today for this live webinar. And again, thank you very much for your support to the Maxiaro Leadership Podcast. And I can't wait to send you even more episodes in 2023. I've got a number of very exciting guests already lined up, a couple of episodes already recorded that will be released over the coming months. And I also will have a number of training program and offer that I will be sharing with you in the coming months. So thank you very much. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any question. And thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone.
This was the Maxiaro Leadership Podcast. Thank you for joining us. To listen to future episodes, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Until next time, keep being the leader everybody trusts and respects.